I just think that things are beginning to really change. Gold and silver are becoming far more valuable than the currency that stands behind it or that is used to purchase it. And I think that's all you need to know. So anything you're buying right now to get you out of the dollar into the trade that the biggest money in the world is doing, there's your value. The trend is here. And the thing is, mainstream doesn't notice the trend. And I think maybe even the people who watch this show don't really realize how big the trend is over the last 10 years.
The demand on gold and silver is increasing at a rapid rate in 2025, and the statistics points to the tightness of such markets. It is estimated that there is 1.03 billion ounces of silver supply in the current year, and demand has been estimated at 1.148 billion ounces, which have produced a deficit of 95 million ounces. Gold is likewise recording the same capacity, as the world demand is projected to touch approximately 4,850 metric tons by 2025 as the central banks and investors look after their safety. The U.S. continues to dominate with 8,133 tons of official gold reserves, and Germany, Italy, France, Russia and China all have between 2,300 and 3,300 tons of their own, which is a whisper in the background of large accumulation. Silver, in the meantime, is tight due to the fact that most of the silver is in geological form and not in the form of bullion in the vaults, with Peru possessing an estimated 110,000 metric tons of silver, with Australia, Russia, China, and Poland also having vast reserves. According to Andy Schectman, the trend in gold and silver is much bigger than most people realize. Even the mainstream media hasn't caught on yet. He believes anything you buy right now puts you on the same side as the smartest money in the world, and that alone shows where the real value is. Let's dive into today's video to uncover some valuable insights. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.
The trend is here. And the thing is, mainstream doesn't notice the trend. And I think maybe even the people who watch this show don't really realize how big the trend is. Over the last 10 years, price of gold has gone from 1,100 to 4,200. That's a 256% increase. And price of silver has moved from 13 to 57. That's a 315% increase. But I think the real trend right now is in deliveries, like we were talking about. Something big is happening on COMEX. I've been screaming that forever, right? And in the December contract, which went off the board, 29th, a couple days after maybe the day after Thanksgiving. So far, over 10,000 COMEX silver futures contracts have stood for delivery. 10,000 at 5,000 ounces each. That's more than 50 million ounces of silver that have been taken off the exchange, including 565 contracts or 2.8 million ounces in a single day. So over 60% of the COMEX registered silver was claimed in just the first 4 days of trading in the 2025 December contract. The demand for physical metal is massively accelerating. This is not normal flow. This is institutional accumulation. And I think that this is something that cannot be overlooked. I just think that things are beginning to really change. And now you got banks like UBS who are vocal saying that the 300 million ounce physical deficit, and we've been seeing that every year between 1 and 300 million ounces going on the 6th year in a row, is turning them bullish. And they recommend long positions in silver they've never have before. So yeah, I think when you talk about central banks repatriating gold and all of the stuff we've been talking about, standing for delivery, sovereign wealth funds, commercial banks, huge deliveries, to me, what this boils down to is that it will ultimately trickle down into the retail market. And it hasn't yet, but it will. And when it does, it will happen very quickly. Things will just become very difficult to obtain. It doesn't happen at the highest levels and then just stop. I think you'll see it move down into the retail market. It's interesting because on just about everything but American products, premiums are as low as I've ever seen them. The American products, they seem to be going higher and higher. But you will find, I think, that what is a easy to get, flush, supplied laden market in retail very quickly will change. Not there yet, but I think it will, based upon what we're seeing around the globe. Retail public is just more or less asleep, and that's the truth of it. So, yeah, I think there's great values everywhere. Maybe the best value I've ever seen in my career is pre-65 silver ever. But short of that, anything that you're buying right now in this environment, when the smartest money in the world is doing the same thing, is all you need to know.
The titans of global finance fight using algorithms and asset reserves instead of armies, and they just got a whole new supply of advanced battle equipment. As of December 8, 2025, the BRICS Alliance, a bloc of 10 full members including Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates, has launched the unit, aiming to hit the heart of Western monetary hegemony. The concept centers on a gold-anchored digital instrument designed to reroute trillions in trade away from the US dollar. Andy believes this development is a major step toward a gold-based global trade system and could significantly reduce the influence of the dollar in international trade. Now let's redirect our attention to the video again.
And so it is a basket-backed collateral anchored system, token, used to settle trade invoices. The key of it that I don't think I talked enough about, but that really makes sense to me, is that the unit will make measures the BRICS plus currencies in gold terms instead of you're measuring gold in currency terms the way it is now, where you measure it in dollars. All of these currencies, their value will be measured against gold. Gold is the reference in all of this. That is the important part to remember, is that gold is the reference in all of this. And in essence, what it's going to be able to do is allow countries to trade with other countries using this settlement vehicle, which allows for immediate delivery in gold. And all of it will challenge the hegemony of the West, because sales or transactions will chip away at the transactional status of the dollar, devaluing it. And ultimately, gold being the anchor to all of this, which has destroyed the performance of the 10-year Treasury without any counterparty risk, will start to massively chip away at the reserve status of the Treasury and of the dollar. So the bottom line here is that it's in beta testing right now. So the claim that it had been launched successfully, it's been launched, but in a beta test. One last point I'd like to make about it. You didn't hear about this until here it is, right? Why? Because the United Arab Emirates, China, Hong Kong, Thailand developed the program. Shortly thereafter, Saudi Arabia wasn't involved in the initial development, but they came on as the fifth, and they're a big one, right? The largest oil producer, OPEC, they came on as the fifth participant in Enbridge. Think about that for a moment. Cross-border settlement for things like oil, and Saudi Arabia is the fifth primary member. Now, all of this, as just for a refresher, people don't know this, was developed in concert with the Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub. And, we can't be involved in any transaction, even though they've been doing this for 4 years, developing it with these people. Well, we can't be involved in any program that would allow any country to sidestep Western sanctions, acting as though they just realized that Russia was the R in BRICS. So that really got the BRICS countries mad, in particular China, very mad. And that's why it's gone dark. You don't hear a lot about it anymore. Now, we knew that they were still working on the bridge technology. And we've talked about it a little bit on your show here, how they have already connected with the countries in Southeast Asia, the Asian countries that are 800 million people, twice the population of the U.S., the largest trading partner of China by far, not the U.S., those countries in Southeast Asia. And now they have the ability to go back and forth with central bank digital currencies, or ultimately the unit, free from Western interference, settle in 7 seconds, no intermediary banks in New York, no sanctions. It's happening. And it's happening now in a much faster way, where they're actually testing the unit.
The debate surrounding the unit's design, purpose, and geopolitical implications has already reshaped conversations about de-dollarization, global power shifts, and the use of blockchain systems. The unit does not replace national currencies. Instead, it aims to act as a neutral settlement tool that reduces reliance on the US dollar and trade between BRICS economies. Any system that allows major economies to settle trade without using the US dollar reduces global demand for it. What is your stance? Is this the end of US dollar dominance? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.